I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of those
happy days. The weekend comes, my cycle hums.
It's just one of those days where you don't wanna wake up. Everything is every place sucks. You don't really know why, but you wanna justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet,
Just knock it off, you scum bucket.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those.
Happy days.
It's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, my cycle hums. Ready to make stays.
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, leaves with the bloodstain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better shoot, cause I'm fucking up your program. And if you're stuck up, you just locked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all about it.
Happy days.
It's just one of those,
Happy days.
it's just one of those days.
The weekend comes, my cycle hums. Ready to make stays.
Feel like shit. My suggestion is keep your distance. 'Cause right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the bonds.
If my day keeps going this way, I just might.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I pack a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get it.
What we got here is a case of mistaken identity, you know? See, now this here,
Not Robert.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 210 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. How's everyone doing this fine Thursday? I was going to say evening, but it's still technically afternoon, and it's really sunny. It's been really hot as of late. I guess that's what happens when we now enter August. I mean, today is the 1st of August, which is actually crazy how quick this year has been. Really has been absolutely crazy to see. It's August, which is the 8th month, September, October, November, December. Yeah, it's 4 months until December, which again, it's crazy how it's been going really, really quickly as of late. But anyways, that being said, thank you all very much for coming along. I see there's about 5 people watching, which hopefully more people will come. But it's good to see this. People have turned up, anyways, regarding to that. So let me have a quick look and see who's in the chat, just real quick. We have Chaz Smash, Budgie Burger, Rory Herbert, and Nest Mini Second Gen. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation tonight. Tonight it's gonna be, I don't want to say it's a bit of a downer, but it's obviously everyone's talking about it. A lot of people have made their points about it already, and I figured, well, since everyone's talking about it, I might as well just kind of throw my hat in the ring, as of, if you will. Which, of course, is what happened this past week with the Southport, which I believe it's in Liverpool, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, we're going to cover that, mainly the whole entirety of the show. I'll probably do the show for about maybe an hour and a half. So I'll talk about Southport, and then once we covered all of that, then we'll get into of course, the Q&A section at the last half an hour of the show. So just quick checking my phone. Everything's all fine and dandy. I've got everything I need for tonight anyway with that. Oh, and also, actually, something that I should mention, because I can imagine there'd be some people wondering where I was, last week's episode. I've not really said anything about it. First off, I want to apologize that there wasn't any episodes last week, or maybe like the week before. I'm not too sure. But the reason why there wasn't an episode previously was because there was just a lot of stuff going on. I was busy with work type of thing. So it was mainly a case of I was mainly just focusing on that. I should have maybe let you guys know through Telegram and Twitter and all of that. But again, I was just really busy. But we're here now. And I know I did say in the last episode I was going to plan on having a guest on the show. But again, I think we'll probably just wait for maybe next week or the week after. We'll wait and see when it comes to that. Especially with this current news. There's been a lot of stuff going on as of late, and a lot of it really. Some people will say blackpilling. A lot of it very, very angry regarding to that, which is of course understandably so. We will cover all of that mainly tonight, and there will be a chance that I will be quite. I'm not well. I was. It's probably a good thing I did the stream tonight because yesterday I remember I was actually just so pissed off because of not just what happened in Southport, but I think I was more pissed off with the reaction to what happened in Southport, especially with all of the protests and the demonstration that happened. Because, and again, it's something we'll cover a lot more throughout the show. But I was just, and again, I know people are going to say like, "Well, I mean, why would you really be that surprised?" But it's still just absolutely not only embarrassing, but absolutely disgusting seeing people defending, in a way, the perpetrator and also denouncing, this protest. Which, look, people have a right to be angry with what happened. And again, I'm kind of jumping the gun a little bit here, but we'll just cover that in a moment. See, there's a few more people coming into the chat already, which is cool to see. Mayfair Carpenter, thank you very much for liking and sharing the stream. 77th Brigade and Miss Tuesday, how you guys doing? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. So, I can imagine tonight's topic is going to be, again, it's quite emotional in a sense. Again, it's going to be really saddened story. It's going to be a really angry story. And again, it's understandably so because of what happened. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you guys a bit of like a rough time or maybe like a brief timeline of events that happened. And I actually didn't find this out until I think it was maybe... I don't know if it was maybe that Monday. I believe it happened on Monday. I kind of know that, but and there was just like a lot of news coming about in this case. Sorry, just one quick. Jojo Gizmo. It didn't take long for Starmer to show that he's the worst ever prime minister of the worst ever government that this country has ever had. Again, we're jumping the gun a little bit, but thank you very much for bringing that up, Jojo. That is some. I did see that, and also I believe that there was a 6-point plan that was released. Again, we will cover that. Don't worry. We will definitely cover that shortly. Anyways, let's start off with, let's just get right into it. Southport. I believe, as I mentioned earlier on Monday, I believe it was like Monday afternoon or somewhere around that time. Of course, there was another, an attack, a terrorist attack, if you want to call it that, again, this is also something that was really frustrating about the whole thing because there was a lot of people coping and just going out of their way to try and make it out as if like, no, this person who committed this heinous act, he wasn't a foreigner, he was born in Cardiff. Are you actually serious? Are you actually serious? Anyways, before getting more into that, what had happened was, in basic terms, a foreigner who was a son of I'm going to butcher the word, sorry, Rwandan parents who I believe second generation or parents, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong on that, but his parents were from Rwanda. They moved over here, and of course he was born in Britain, which of course why there's so many of these leftists, globalists, whatever you want to call them, trying to make this kind of gaslighting technique of saying, well, he's from Cardiff, so he's clearly just as British as you and me, pal, that sort of idea. And again, what he had done was he, again, did a knife attack on children. Now, at this point of the stream, 3 kids have died because of it. And I believe other children have also suffered because of what happened. And I believe they're in critical condition. So I really do hope that those kids make it out fine and dandy when it comes to that. And I hope there'll be not another death that has happened because of this regarding to that. See a few more people in the chat. Woodlanders in the chat. How you doing? Budgie Burger. I've already said your name. Sorry. John Parr 347 years. And thank you very much. A mental health attack from a Cardiff man. Well, again, we'll get to all that a lot more. Don't worry. Do the parents of the dead children vote, and for who? I mean, I don't know. Obviously, my thoughts and prayers go out to the victims, to the families of the victims, and I hope that I could just I can't imagine being a parent and you having your child be a victim of this absolute barbaric attack. I think we can all agree that no child should ever be a victim of these types of attacks. I think everyone can agree that there definitely should be a line drawn. Obviously, I'm not trying to say like uh, other deaths are not as bad as children deaths. I'm not trying to say that. Obviously, a death or a killing of a life is bad. You know, regarding with regards to that. What I'm trying to say is, when it comes to children, I think there definitely should be a line drawn when it comes to children being victims of these types of attacks. Adam Miller, how you doing? BBC tried to blame it on autism earlier. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at this point. I mean, again, I know that the mainstream media will try everything in their power to blame anything. I mean, they're blaming the far right, of course. They're blaming the fucking EDL, the English Defense League, which again, I do have that in my notes, and I know I'm kind of jumping the gun here because there has been somewhat of breaking news, if you will, which again we'll cover that a bit later on, because I was looking at this earlier on before the show started, and I was thinking to myself, please, for the love of God Almighty above, please tell me this is satire. There's no way people can be this 100% fucking stupid. Please, surely not, right? Let's see, Chaz Smashwell, correct. The main point is that this could have been in your area and your kids. Exactly, yeah. And I think that's what the really frightening thing about this was, that this could happen anywhere. A similar attack I remember happened in, was it France, if I'm not mistaken? Can't remember exactly where, but I'm pretty sure it was in France. And again, it was another horrific attack. And sure enough, there were people that were furious about this, and of course, rightfully and understandably so, did their protests. But then after that, it just kind of died down a little bit, and you think, well, what happened exactly? I mean, again, I understand that at the moment that this all occurred, that many people would be angry, but you think there'd be a lot more protests and more people just speaking out against this whole thing, but it just kind of died down. But this happened here in Britain, and of course in Southport, and the reaction, of course, of what happened, from not just from my colleagues at Patriotic Alternative, but other nationalists, other people who are not necessarily political, but just were absolutely gobsmacked by what happened. Let me see. Yes, it was in France in the play park. That's right. I remember that. It was just out of nowhere in the play park, which is another frightening thought, especially if you're a parent or even a grandparent or like a uncle or niece or whatever. That scumbag stabbed the baby. Yeah, I do remember that part of the story, which again, that's just it's horrible. Absolutely horrible. So Tuesday comes around, the day after. I think it was the day after, because of course this whole thing happened. There was people upset, angry about the whole thing, laying flowers and teddies for the victims. At least from what we know at the moment, again, the 3 girls that have died because of this, paying their respects and all that. And of course, who happens to show up to pay, their respects would be Keir Starmer. Now, I do have the video here so we can have a look at, but I believe it's from a completely different angle, and I think it was from like another news source, probably ITV or maybe BBC, but I'm not entirely too sure. But again, I'm going to play this, and I know people may have seen this already, but we're going to play this just for context with what we're talking about. So let me have a quick look and see if I can get my notes here. And which was it? This one? Yeah, this actually would be the first one, considering that's again part of the start of the timeline of events. So let me just quickly get this open. share the screen, and then we'll have a look into this video. AM, thank you very much for watching. Hello, sir. Force to the Nationalists. Thank you very much. Share the screen. Let me see. The one I usually go to, which is this one here. Share audio, of course. Again, let everyone knows I have seen this video in question, and also just closed that. Sorry, just bear with me just 1 second. There we go. That's the normal layout. Right. Is it this one? Yes. From Welsh Nationalists, of course, being Joe Marsh's. I think it's mainly Joe Marsh's. Joe Marsh Telegram page. But anyways, let's have a look at this real quick. So again, for context, this was after the events that happened. Keir Starmer goes there, of course, being the current Prime Minister of Great Britain. He goes down to Southport to pay his respects. And of course, the public at Southport were not having it. And you'll see what this here.
How many more children have died in our streets, Prime Minister? How many more children? How many more children, Prime Minister? Are we going to do something? Time for change, Starmer. Come on, it's needed. How many more children? Is it mine next? Bye-bye. Got your photos, off you go. Make a real change, Prime Minister. Make a real change! Our children! Go away!
There we go. There was another video, again, like I mentioned before. There was another video that came out from a bit of a different angle. And there was more footage of that. And again, I believe there was a woman in that video who was, of course, understandably upset and angry that these politicians really just don't do anything, which of course is true. They don't do anything. And the worst part about it is they don't care. They do not give a damn. And I know that's something, again, talk about more. I'm seeing people in the chat calling him Keir Stalin. Again, we'll cover that a bit more later on, but we'll just focus on the timeline of events type of thing. So that was the reaction there when Starmer came, and you could tell at this point in time tensions are at an all-time high with what happened. And again, it's understandable why there'd be a lot of tensions, why there's a lot of anger that happened, because again, children being victims of, once again, another foreigner attack, or an attack from a foreigner who, let's all just be brutally honest here. I know it's not necessarily an original point to me, but it's a foreigner that really shouldn't be here in the first place. And as per usual, when these types of attacks happen, especially from a foreigner, they always go to the mental health aspect of it all. They always go to the don't look back in anger. You know, like we're supposed to be above that. The same fucking drivel, or the same drivel, sorry, that we keep hearing time after time after time again. So after all of that, then came the idea of a protest just at this area. I think I'm not sure if in that video that was the same exact area, but or maybe somewhere a bit further along. But basically, there was going to be a protest or a demonstration in Southport based on what happened. And I know there's already been articles in the mainstream media, like Hope Not Hate and all of that, desperately trying to make it out as if like, oh, this was a like patriotic alternatives planned protests and all of that. Listen, we had nothing to do with that, okay? Not whatsoever. We believe at the time of this stream, again, the protest itself was actually from the general public of Southport. Southport, the public themselves actually arranged this this protest or demonstration. Let me see. Toffee L10, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. Even Chief's wallpaper, even chat. It's good wallpaper, yeah. But thank you very much, Toffee. Thank you very much. But yes, so I think it was that same Tuesday night that was going to happen, and I remember watching some live streams, and this is the thing, right? Before it all kicked off, right, which I think we all knew from the get-go. As soon as this was announced that this was in fact going to happen, we knew that in some way there was going to be some kind of disorder. There was going to be some violence when it comes to it. Again, not that myself or my colleagues condone anything that happened with these protests. Again, it's more of a matter of for myself when it comes to it, I don't condone the actions of what happened. I can understand why it was all done, because again, it's more than just what happened to these three girls at the time of the demonstration happened or the protest happened, but you can tell. And this is something that we nationalists have talked about for a long while now, but there's been this sort of pent up anger towards not just the police, but towards the overall establishment. Because, and I've said this time and time again on the show, but we're living in a time where it's a completely two-tier system. It's a complete anti-white system. And again, jumping the gun a little bit, I understand that the points Keir Starmer has made earlier on. Again, that just goes to show, like, again, what type of prime minister he is, what type of government we have at the moment. Which, I mean, I know there's going to be a question brought up, like, well, would it be maybe softer or maybe somewhat different if the Tories were still in? I don't think so. I think it would be the same, but I think with this case, maybe Labour are going to be a lot harsher with what's going to happen. But anyways, before we get into that, so yes, the protests happened, which I believe it was about 8 p.m. that Tuesday evening, and I did watch the stream. I can't remember what channel it was, but it was on YouTube, of course. In fact, it was that one stream, and then I watched a little bit of UNN's stream about it as well, because for some odd reason the original stream that was going on that night, even though it was going on for a while, but then they decided to stop. I guess because they believe it was just really for their safety kind of thing. Because to be fair, if you go back and watch that stream, it did become a lot more it was definitely starting more and more to kick off, basically. So that was that, and then I watched UNN with David Clues, who was hosting that episode as well. I watched that a little bit, and there were a couple of cool things that did come out of the protest. I did see someone with the shirt that had the Free Sam Millia t-shirt, which was pretty based. I'm not gonna lie, and yeah, so that whole thing happened. And I think looking back on it, there were some people, again, the anger is completely justified. And of course, people have a right to be angry. People have a right to protest after what happened in this absolute horrific event. I have heard, though, that there were some property damage, again, from some of the protesters. And look, this is exactly what I was trying to say on X or on Twitter. Again, nothing wrong with a protest like that. And again, there's nothing wrong with being angry about that. It's understandable why people would be fucking furious as to why this has occurred. It's another thing to just damage private property. You know, I think that there was some of the protesters that were ripping down like a wall or something like that. And it's like, guys, again, the anger is justified, but like at the same time, you can't just go out and just destroy private property. You can't just, you know, tell some local members of that community to piss off, or because that's another thing I've also heard as well. Because to me, it's like you're focusing your anger on the wrong people. If anything, you should focus your anger on the establishment and the police. Why? Because they're part of the anti-white system. They're the reason, or partly the reason, as to why these murders have happened and why it's probably going to continue to happen. Because again, especially after what Keir Starmer has said earlier on, it's more likely going to happen because, again, we live in an anti-white system that are so hell-bent of just getting rid of the natives of this country. And at this point in time, I think they're even like just no longer hiding it even anymore. I know it's something that's kind of said in the past, but I think we have definitely seen more full on masks off from a few people within the left or the globalist, again, whatever you want to call them. Carl Saxon, the guy was told to stop filming someone in contact with him, was on another stream. I think that actually might be the one that I was talking about. Yeah, because they had to stop, and then of course I tried to look for another stream to watch that was covering again the protest that was going on. So then that happened, and then Wednesday comes around, and there was a lot of denouncements from people, from again, of course, from the usual suspects, but there was also some denouncements from the what I call the gatekeepers. And when I say that, I think you all know exactly who I'm referring to. I'm referring to the Sivnats, Tommy Tards, those types of people that are the civic nationalist types, if you will. Which I got a couple of tweets to showcase this. One from Jonathan Pye. I'm sure people have heard of him before. There's one from UKIP, which I was just. It's basically a tweet of UKIP denouncing, ethno-nationalism and all of that. I mean, at this point in time, they're no better than Reform UK at this point. It's just absolutely pathetic. And who was the other person? There was Jonathan Pye, UKIP. Ricky Doolin, which was the funniest one. We'll get to that in a moment or two. So, anyways, Wednesday comes around, and of course, there's a lot of talks about what happened. I remember I was at work on Wednesday. I was I was part of the specific room, tidying up stuff and all of that, and just working away. And of course, there was a radio that was playing so that we could listen to music. So of course, it wouldn't be as boring, to do the work and whatnot. And then that radio, of course, they have their own news section, and of course, they were talking about Southport. And one of the mentions with that event was, of course, after what happened, the Labour and Keir Starmer were claiming that the people who are part of that protest are going to feel the full wrath of the law, which is funny to me because, again, these are the same groups of people that denounce police, like, all cops are bastards, because of black people and all of that. But then, of course, when it comes to these types of events, Mr. Policeman, could you maybe do something about the dreaded far right? It's so fucking transparent, honestly. It's fucking disgusting, as a matter of fact. Toffee reads, loads of people thought it was me who called Doolin a rat because of the accent. It wasn't me, unfortunately. That was, again, I do have the video in question, and it was pretty funny. And we'll get to that in a moment or two. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at some of the tweets. Some of the tweets, by the way, again, for both sides of the globalist or the left, and also from people from the Sivnat types, were just absolutely astonishing, because there were actually some people who were trying to use Lucy Letby as like a way of, well, it seems like only these white people tend to care about these events if the perpetrators were brown or black, but with white people killing babies, and they're absolutely silent. It's like, really? That's your big gotcha? That's your hot take on that? What an absolute fucking hemorrhoid you are. I'll show the tweets actually just now, because I was actually stunned that these people would actually have the audacity, the temerity, the fucking balls to use Lucy Letby as like a big fucking gotcha. Let me see if I can find those tweets real quick, because I was just amazed by it. I could not believe it, because before I get to my hold on one sec. Why is it coming up as that? Wait a minute. I want going to X or Twitter. Actually, let me check my notifications real quick. Sorry, bear with me just 1 minute. It's cool. All right, let's see bookmarks. This the good thing about the new Twitter is that you've got the bookmark section, so it makes it easier to actually find these tweets. So I do have a couple of them. There was 3. There was a third one I did try to find, because I did see that one. I think it was last night, and that one I was just like, that was the one I just couldn't believe I can't believe people are actually making this argument. I mean, it's a stretch and so retarded to try and make out, well, the perpetrator was from Cardiff, so it makes him just as Welsh as you and me, bro. I mean, it's bad as that. It's as bad as that. Let me see if I can actually share the screen for you guys so that we can see these together. Right, one sec. All right, here we go. So here's the two that I found today, right, about this. So this one, I'm just going to read out the names because, fuck these people, right? SJ304 writes, Lucy Letby was killing newborns for sport and nobody was on the streets talking about save our kids. We know the game here. Then another one here reads from Beta. I mean, it should be Beta, but whatever. Lucy Letby, a white, killed 7 kids and tried to kill another 7 more. No outcry against the whites. No public apologies from the native whites. No heads of communities. No pub landlord came out to denounce it. Nor was it expected. Racists using murdered children to spew hate. And like I said, there was a third tweet that I did try to find that I came across last night. Couldn't find it here for the show, but basically what that third tweet was saying, well, Lucy Letby was going around killing babies, but no one said an absolute peep about this. It's like, listen, you fucking disingenuous pricks. With that case, with the Lucy Letby case, right? Everybody was horrified by that case. I remember Mark was talking about it. I remember Laura was talking about it. A lot of people in our sphere were talking about it. In fact, there's even people on the SIP. In fact, a lot of people, mainly white, of course, by the way, who were talking about this and were just fucking horrified by what they've heard about that case. So it's so fucking disingenuous of these absolute fucking cretins of society to try and use that as like some kind of gotcha. Like, go fuck yourselves, mate. Honestly, it's astonishing the length these people will go to try to make some kind of bullshit argument. So that's that. Chaz Smash real quick. They say these things because they have lost the argument. Well, do you know there was a video of some stupid bitch at the protest, right? Again, don't know if people may have seen this, but let's have a look at this, right? Because again, this just showcase just how. One second here. Where is it? Right here. Okay, here we go. So I believe it was Steve Laws that shared the video in question, and even just mentioned that I'm sure people will know exactly what I'm referring to. But let's have a look at this. Now, this was at that protest that Tuesday night, right? And again, the majority of the people that were there who were sending their condolences, they were just pissed off and angry at the establishment because, again, they're probably not going to do a single thing about this. And after hearing what Starmer said earlier today, that's going to be a prime example of that. So let's have a quick look at this video. And I think this actually sums up everything that is wrong with the current left. Well, I say the current left, but anyways, let's have a look at this. Right. Again, I'm sure people might have seen this already, but Steve Laws writes, there's always one, a retard walks into the middle of a demonstration holding a hope not hate sign saying racism not welcome here. And this is one person, by the way, but let's have a look at this, right?
What does it say? What does the banner say? What does it say?
Yeah, what does it say? One race, human, hope not hate, racism not welcome here. Racism, you stupid cunt. Always has to be that one person.
What does it say?
And of course, I saw this and I decided to write a response to this about the woman in question. And this is my tweet here, where I write, the problem with these hope not hate types is that they are the definition, well, actually, not just hope not hate, but just these pro-refugee, pro-LGBT, pro-leftist, progressive types, all of that, globalists, whatever you want to call them. The problem with these types of people is that these people are the definition of conformity. And I continue on to write saying, They want to act as if they are the revolutionaries when in reality they are not. They follow the lefty slash globalist herd and never once had the balls to think for themselves. And I mean, I don't know if people might agree with that, but that's why I always think of them at this point. I always thought it was so amazing and funny to see these people claiming to be the big bad revolutionaries and they're going to change the world and stop the government. You're not going to do fucking shit. You know why? Because you're conformists. Everything you say and do is exactly what the establishment wants. Do these people and chat, ask yourself this. I know this might be a very rhetorical question to ask at this point, but let's all again just be honest here. These types of people, these Extinction Rebellion types, Antifa types, and all of that, because some of the members there, to be fair, do genuinely believe in this bullshit. They do believe that they are the revolutionaries and they're the ones that are going to make the change. And I'll ask you this again. I know this might be a rhetorical question to ask, but do you guys in the chat really believe that they're going to make a change? Of course not. Do you really think for a minute that the establishment, the politicians, and all of that, do you really think they would cower themselves in fear with these types of people? No, absolutely not. They would laugh their fucking nuts off with these types of people. The same groups of people that would call them, fascist scum and all of that. Like, there's nothing, there's nothing thought provoking, or there's nothing thought provoking. There's nothing edgy. There's just none of that. There's nothing like that at all whatsoever. And the worst thing about it is these people claim that they have the moral high ground and they have these strong beliefs, when in reality they really are the types of people that stand for absolutely fucking nothing. All they stand for is this global homo fucking bullshit where they just want to sit on their arses, collect government checks all fucking day, and be leeches of society, to be parasites of society. And when it comes to these foreigners, again, they just want to use these foreigners as work units. The ones to deliver their food, the ones to do the warehouse work, and all of that. That's the reason why they care. They care so much about these wonderful refugees. They don't give an utter fuck about them. Again. Do you really think for a minute that if these like non-whites who are coming here and actually were to maybe speak their minds about tradition and all of that, do you really think that these lefty douchebags would actually defend these types of people then? No, of course not. Absolutely not. They're all proxy warriors for the establishment. Yeah, exactly. They're just that. And all the establishment types, they, again, like I said, they would just laugh their balls off. They would just laugh at them because they're not a threat to society. They're not a threat to the fucking system. They're useful tools for the system. They're useful idiots for the establishment. And I always find it so fucking hilarious to see these types. Why it's people like you, like me, or Mark Collett, or Laura Towler, or PA, or any nationalist group for that matter. Oh, we're the problems of society. We're the ones that need to be like put down and all of that. It's like, listen, you're not a fucking threat. You're useful idiots. All right. The establishment wouldn't cower themselves in fear. Again, they would just laugh at you lot because you're not a threat. Because you're as I said, you're useful fucking idiots. And just the length that these people will go to defend the perpetrator that did this. I mean, again, at the very least, with all of that, at least they're being honest with the stuff they're saying. But that being said, I think it's about time what we should be doing is start shaming those fucking bastards. You know why? Because whenever these terrorist attacks happen, whenever there's a knifing happen, a stabbing, or a beheading, or anything like that at all, with regards to what happened in Southport recently, with the Manchester bombing that happened, with the 7/7 bombing that happened, all these types of attacks, whenever these always occur, those same fucking people will come out of the woodwork and say, not all Muslims, not all foreigners. Say, well, again, there seems to be every single time these events happen, there's always a running, occurring, or not running, sorry, but a time and time again, occurring or similar behavior. And the perpetrators that commit these acts, again, seem to fall in line with a certain group of people. At this point in time, what do you want them to think or say? Like, you have to call out exactly what it is, and people are just fucking fed up with that. They're sick and tired of the whole fucking bullshit. And again, these lefty types, oh, well, he was born in Cardiff and all of that. He's just as British and all this. Oh, you're the ones that don't really. I love this the most, by the way. They say, you're the ones that don't care about the dead kids. You're using them to fill your bigoted propaganda. Fuck you. You're the ones that don't give a shit about the dead kids. If anything, you seem to care more about the fucking foreigners than you care about your own fucking people. And that's what really fucking pisses me off. Because with this whole thing that happened with the protest, they weren't pissed off that 3 kids fucking died because of this foreigner that really shouldn't fucking be here. Instead of that, they're actually pissed off with the fact that this protest actually occurred, which again, like I said before, people have a right to be angry. People have a right to protest. Yes. Did it maybe go a bit too far? In my opinion, it kind of did. You know, with some of the property damage and all of that. But again, people have a right to protest. People have a right to be angry, especially when it comes to fucking kids being killed by these fucking foreigners that really shouldn't fucking be here. Like, this is something that really fucking angers me. With again, I know I really shouldn't be surprised at this point with the establishment and all of that. But if they actually, I know this will never happen. But these fucking people, the establishment types, right? These same people that wonder, why do we have like so many of these working class folk or these people that are protesting? Why are they not fans of us? Maybe if you actually were to shut up and listen to those people, and maybe they will tell you otherwise. You know, maybe actually sit down and talk to them, and maybe give them a chance to actually speak their fucking minds out. But we know that's not going to happen, because as soon as any member from that community who actually do speak their minds about this sort of thing, then of course they'll be shunned as a racist and all of that, which again is not really much of a surprise at this point. It really isn't. And it's astonishing. It really is astonishing. The biggest victims of all the terrorist attacks are the Islamic community. Don't look back in anger. I know. It's actually fucking disgusting that they're saying all this types of stuff. Now, with saying that, when it comes to these lefty types and all of that, well, again, I know people are gonna say, "Well, why are you?" I don't know. I really shouldn't be that surprised with regards to that. But the worst thing about this whole thing are the Sifnat types, the gatekeepers, who, as soon as the whole thing was kicking off, they immediately run in there and try to gatekeep people like Jonathan Pye, which again, I have a tweet from him, and I know I also did give a response to that tweet, but I'll read you out his original tweet, and I'll see if I can read out mine. Where is his tweet? Yeah, well, there's mine in question, but I'll look at Jonathan Pye's original tweet. Hold on. Oh, that's a bit weird. I thought he blocked me, but apparently not. Anyways, let's have a look at this, right? So here's Jonathan Pye's tweet. This was the 30th of July. This was Tuesday, I think it was. Yeah, wait a minute. Let me check the calendar. Yeah. So this was Tuesday. So this was after the protest happened, right? This is what this fucking bastard wrote. The unnamed suspect is actually from Wales, you dog whistling tit. These EDL far-right thugs are exploiting the deaths of children to push an anti-immigration narrative based on false info circulating online. They do not represent British people. In fact, they're racist cunts. Now that's Jonathan Pye. Now I'm sure some of you might have heard of Jonathan Pye, but Jonathan Pye is one of those. I guess he's a. I don't know if he's necessarily a free speech absolutist, but he's one of those people who, I'm for free speech and all of that. Except for, certain groups of people. And I wouldn't be surprised that he would call the left, the communists and whatnot, as, those people, they're the real fascists. Really? Is that it? And I like this whole thing. The unnamed suspect is actually from Wales. You dog whistle tit. First off, it's a German Shepherd whistle or whistling. Second of all, and we mentioned this already, but the suspect is not from Wales. Like again, this whole argument. Well, they were born on the soil, but that doesn't make them British. Listen, being British means being white. It's the same argument you would give if you were born in Japan. You know, being born in Japan means what? Like you being Japanese. Basically, right. There's a perfect counter argument to all of that because again, I know there's a lot of these lefty types tend to use that. Well, he's from Cardiff, so what's the problem? Right. Oh fuck the guy, an American nationalist. I was going to mention. What's his name? He's an American nationalist who was born in Japan. He grew up in Japan, grown up in the Japanese education system. But bollocks, what was his name? He's part of American Renaissance, I think it's called. Oh bollocks, what was his name? Because that is a perfect counter argument to all of that bullshit that these types of people would try to make, especially Jonathan Pye being like, well, he's actually born in Wales. It's like, no, listen, like, oh god, chat, help me out. What was the name of the person? The American nationalist. Oh, that's good. Really, Jared Taylor. Thank you, Chica. Thank you very much. Yes, Jared Taylor, who is white, an American nationalist who was born in Japan. Right now, last time I checked, Japan is a overwhelmingly homogenous society. It's overwhelmingly Japanese society. Now, again, he was born in Japan. I still, as a white man, of course, when it comes to that, but he grew up in Japan. He grew up in the Japanese education system. I believe he worked in Japan before moving back to America, or where he originated, or at least for his ancestry originated from when it comes to that sort of idea. But the point being is, because of all of that, and even though he's a white man, but he was born in Japan on Japanese soil and all of that, does that make him Japanese? No, of course not. Despite the fact he was born in Japanese soil, it doesn't make him Japanese. It's one thing to say, like, citizenship, but we're not talking about citizenship. We're talking about ethnicity. Now, when it comes to here in Britain, whether it's England or Scotland or Wales or Ireland, these countries, historically and culturally speaking, are white countries. Always have been, always will be. So this idea of, well, this brown person was born in Scotland, or this black person was born in England, that must mean they're Scottish or they're English. No, it means they were born on the soil, but that doesn't make them those nationalities. It doesn't make them English or Scottish. And they're still Ugandan or Rwandan or Pakistani or anything like that. In fact, it's kind of funny because if you were to call them British or even similar like that, they would actually take offense to that, surprisingly enough. So again, this idea, because even those people, the non-whites, when they come here or they were born here, even they don't see themselves as British. They see themselves as either African or Eastern Asia, I think is where Pakistan is based in, or India for that matter. But again, they themselves don't see themselves as British. Nest mini second gen, a chicken born in a stable doesn't make it a horse. Exactly. That again, that's a very valid point. Exactly. Yes. Exactly that. So that was Jonathan Pye's tweet about this. Toffee writes, if I shit in my mouth, it doesn't make it a toilet. Exactly. Exactly that. So that was Jonathan Pye's tweet. And then I made a response to his tweet with a retweet, of course. And I'll just see if I can get this up here real quick. Why isn't it coming up here? 1 second. Because as soon as I saw his tweet, I was like, oh, here we go. The gatekeepers are all out in force. Let's see if we can have a look at this. So I wrote, oh, look, the gatekeepers are trying to take over. The piece of shit is being the perpetrator is not Welsh nor British. He's Rwandan. Only white people can be British. Continue making your basic bitch political takes, you shekel horn fraud. And yeah, that's exactly that. And I think even though we've not watched the video yet on the stream, it was absolutely satisfying to see Ricky Doolan getting called out for the fraudster that he is, because again, he was only there to make shackles or for the graft, and he was trying to gatekeep. Those were the only reasons why him and his ilk were there, because they saw that many people had similar talking points to PA or any nationalist group for that matter. And I guess they got called in and say, right, no, you got to do something about this. We got not necessarily shut it down, but we just have to sway people into another direction. Like, no, don't go too far to the right. No, come to our right. You know, our right is way better, way easier. That sort of idea. So with that, let me see if I can find that video with Ricky Doolan, and I'll see if I can. Yeah, it was James Goddard's tweet. I read and seen it. Again, it's so funny. It's so hilarious. And I think, again, actually, but before we get into that, there was another point I wanted to make about, again, the globalists. The people who are more angry about the protest than 3 kids being killed. You know, the same types of people who are all about defending progressivism and defending the refugees. Even though time and time again these types of attacks happen, the main perpetrators are usually a non-white. I'm going to say this for the record: if you are somebody who genuinely supports these types of people, supports these, these immigrants who time and time again will commit these horrific acts, especially what happened with Southport, you are a child killer enabler, or at least you support child killing. And not only that, I'll even go a step further. You're basically a pedophile. You may not necessarily enact upon it, but you certainly enabled that fucking behavior. And the reason why I say that is because, again, these people support Drag Queen Story Hour, LGBT stuff, and all of that. The usual fucking shit. So if you're somebody who's more angry with the protests that happened in Southport than children being killed, then you're a child killer enabler, or at least you support that type of degenerate shit. And again, it's important to actually to throw a shame on those types of people, because, like I said, the lengths that these people will go to gaslight, to try and move the goalposts and all that, so that they can have their own their point of view being the main center focus and the correct response type of thing. It's just it's horrific. It really is. Hashtag, how you doing? Good evening, all. I've just been accused of being a Fed for calling that foreign shackle grifter out academic agent. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, again, so it's not just the leftists we should shame; it's also these SIPNAT types we should shame, because again, they don't really give a fuck. They're only there to grift. And when I say grift, I literally mean actually grift the whole thing. They're only doing it just for the money, and also to for their own handlers, or their own their bosses, basically, to try and gatekeep the whole thing. Those are the only reasons why they're there. Anyways, let's have a quick look at this video about Ricky Doolan, because like I said, this video was it's so funny and so satisfying to watch. Let's have a look at this, right? This is from James Goddard. We'll just watch the whole video in its entirety. Ricky Doolan, he's not really doing too well, is he? He really isn't doing too well. But let's have a look at this, right? So 3, 2, 1.
Politician's not going to listen to us. How long is it going to be before they do something?
Scumbag. Yeah, I'm on to you, you fucking
Me?
anti-white piece of shit. I'm on to you,
What are you
lad.
talking about?
Yeah, I'm on to you, you fucking dirty scumbag. Ricky,
Why am I a dirty scumbag?
Yeah, you're anti-white. cunt.
Anti-white? You're having a laugh, aren't you? Anti-white? I'm British and proud. I'm British and proud. What YouTube?
You scumbag piece of shit.
I'm British and proud, brother. I am. Brother, I'm British and proud. I'm British and proud, brother. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here, would I? Yeah. Yeah. Why? Why? What's the issue with my Colette like? Hey, what's the issue with my Colette?
Oh dear.
No, I'm not anti-white. How can I be anti-white? No, no, mate. No, mate. I wouldn't be here then. I wouldn't be here if that was the case. I wouldn't be here. We're here for the British people, brother. So why? Hey, not every foreigner is bad. Not every foreigner is bad, brother. Brother, not every foreigner is bad, eh? Yeah, but not every foreigner is bad.
And that's continuing more of the protests, which I think we're just covering that, but yeah, again, that was Ricky Doolan just being called out for the absolute fraud that he basically is. And before I forget, we cannot not talk about UKIP's response, right? Because again, I saw that last night and I just remember thinking, how low can you get? Like just how it's like if it's that I don't know if it's like still kind of or people still use this meme, but I remember a meme of people, doing something bad or terrible, and then someone's like, "No, hold my beer." It's kind of like that with Reform UK, and then UKIP comes along and is like, "No, you guys are cucks. No, hold my beer. We're the cuckold party, right?" Let's have a look at UKIP's response again to this whole thing that happened this past Tuesday, well, Monday and Tuesday. Let's see if I could find. Yeah, there's my tweet, but again, we'll cover the original tweet I was responding to. Again, I know people may have seen this already from UKIP, but it's still absolutely astonishing. Toffee L10, Doolan turning his camera around, trying to dox a proper nationalist. I did notice that. Yeah, really, it's weird that, isn't it? Kind of makes you think, doesn't it? Really does. It really makes you think. The moment when Doolan gets accused of being a grifter and called out for the shyster that he is, Doolan just try and dox a guy. Weird that, isn't it? Really makes you think, doesn't it? Let's see. So here's UKIP's tweet about after everything that happened. We denounce ethno-nationalism. The new right denounces and rejects ethno-nationalism and far-right ideology. UKIP published and promoted by, of course, that's all the main jargon there. Look at the... If you want to talk about a proper ratio between like and dislike on social media platforms, look at this, right? So 65 bookmarks, 114 hearts, 241 retweets, and then 1,000 comments. Now, with regards to being ratioed on Twitter or X, usually if it's a tweet that people really don't like, you'll see a lot more from the response section than you'll do than hearts. So if it's got like a lot of hearts or retweets, usually that's a sign that people really like the tweet or really have responded well to the tweet. But if it's a tweet people really don't like, then again, you'll see more comments than you'll do for retweets or likes. But yeah, and even many people responded. Millennial Woes responded. I see you've got 19 likes for this 5 hours. Serena Brown responded, why? When were we ever asked whether we wanted to be multicultural? Do you support Israel as an ethno state for Jews? That's a very good point. National Housing Party UK, I believe, I think it's Paul or if it's John Lawrence, one of the two anyway, but they're right. Cancel culture, anti-white UKIP never failed to jump the highest for the PC brigade. Defeating nationalism is more important than the 3 girls to these morons. Yeah, valid point. Native Prince disavow you. I love No Chance's response. It's just such a simple response, but it really sticks out. You suck because UKIP you suck, you cuck, that type of thing. Woes responded again. I see you've got 34 likes for this in 7 hours. Tony Martin writes, do you denounce Israel, Jewish ethno-nationalism, or just white ethno-nationalism? Yeah, again, another valid point. It's like one rule for thee and then another rule for another group of people. Iconoclast writes, I think it's a reference to like an old African news station clip. Why are you gay? Who said I was gay? You are gay. Ah, dear. Joel Davis, why do you still exist? Laugh my ass off, pointless and sad. So yeah, UKIP got completely ratioed. In fact, but before we move on, here's my tweet. So I couldn't exactly come up with anything to say, so I thought I would just write this. So I wrote, such cuckold messaging, UKIP's only purpose is to gatekeep. No one buys it anymore. British identity is more than just a passport. To be British is to be white. And I don't think I've actually been blocked by them as of late, but I just want to double check just in case. Nah. I remember I was before when I had my original X account or Twitter account, I remember I was blocked by Turning Point UK or Turning Cuck UK, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, so that was that. Pat McGuinness, yeah. I don't know why I said Paul, but yeah, Pat McGuinness, yeah, it will be Pat McGuinness that comment from NHP UK. Has that I unsubbed from Academic Agent a few weeks ago. He's a waste of time. They're going nowhere to and good evening. Of course, I've responded to the other guys. No Name, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching Mood of the Nation. So even after all this has happened, not apparently because it's already happened, but I think it was either earlier today or maybe yesterday or last night as well. There's still continued protests going around. I think there was a protest in Downing Street. Again, I think that was earlier today. But again, this goes to show that people are still angry about this and they really want their voice to be heard, which good. I'm glad that people are still protesting and hopefully in the most as lawful as possible to protest, because I think people should at this point, because I have a feeling that ever since what happened at Southport, I think a lot of people are waking up finally and are just fed up with the whole thing now. They're saying no more. This is gone long enough. This needs to stop. It really does need to stop at this point. Let's see. There's a big one going on over the weekend in Newcastle. I have heard about that. Is there another demonstration or protest in London as well? If that's the one in Newcastle, I don't know if that's maybe a different one or if that's the one I'm thinking of. But anyways, let me see. What one's that one? Oh, that's probably the Keir Starmer, again, all response to the whole thing with their new police policy they're going to introduce after this whole demonstration or protest happened. Funny how whenever these types of, well, we all know what happened in Leeds prior to this, right? With the Romani gypsy community and all of that. You know, how the police didn't exactly do anything to stop them, or if it was like a group of black people doing it, then they wouldn't do anything to stop them. But and of course the media don't call them riots, but when there's a group of white people doing this, then they call it a riot. Funny that, isn't it? Well, speaking of which, since this whole thing happened, Keir Starmer finally has come out and wanted to give or bring in new policies regarding to this. Now this one is really interesting, and it's quite, I don't want to say worrying, but I think it really goes to show where their priorities are at, and they clearly do not care about the native British people. So let's have a look at this video real quick, and then we'll continue on from there. So 3, 2, 1.
Police forces to tackle violence. This was a meeting to pull together our response. A response both to the immediate challenge, which is clearly driven by far-right hatred, but also all violent disorder that flares up, whatever the apparent cause or motivation. We make no distinction. Crime is crime. And so to that end, I can announce today that following this meeting, we will establish a national capability across police forces to tackle violent disorder. These thugs are mobile. They move from community to community. And we must have a policing response that can do the same. Shared intelligence, wider deployment of facial recognition technology, and preventative action, criminal behaviour orders to restrict their movements before they can even board a train, in just the same way that we do with football hooligans. And let me also say to large social media companies and those who run them, violent disorder clearly whipped up online, that is also a crime. It's happening on your premises, and the law must be upheld everywhere. That is the single most important duty of government. Service rests on security, and we will take all necessary action to keep our streets safe.
Well, there we go. There you have it. So, Keir Starmer, right? When was it he became a prime minister? I think it was after the election, which would have been the 5th of July, I think it was. Because I remember that was like the day of when the PA camp was going on. Joe Marsh is in the chat. How you doing, Joe? Thank you very much for watching. So yeah, he's been prime minister since the 5th of July. It hasn't even been a full month yet, and already he's gearing up to be possibly the worst prime minister we've ever seen in Great Britain. Probably worse than, I don't know, Tony Blair or someone like that, right? Because everything he's stated there is like full blown, like Big Brother communist, type of it's almost like V for Vendetta. I know, funny that, isn't it? Let's see. If there was a point Joe brought up in the chat there just now, was he right? Not a single word from him about protecting our children. I know, funny that. In fact, if anything, from what I've heard, it seems to be they want to care and want to protect the Muslim community than actually protecting our own people and our own communities. Because again, more and more of these attacks are non-whites attacking the white population. We never ever see the other way around, and even if it does, you'll never hear the end of it. But if it's a crime of like a non-white committing towards a white person, and regardless of the severity of the crime or anything like that, then you'll never hear from it. So yeah, it's disgusting, and to see that again, 3 girls have died because of this foreigner attack, and yet Starmer and his peers tend to not really care about, again, our own people when it comes to that. It really, really does make you think, doesn't it? So, yeah, I can't actually believe it's 30 minutes past 7 already, but I guess my closing thoughts about this whole Southport thing, right? Obviously, what had happened in Southport was awful. No one should ever be a victim or anything like that at all. What happened, especially when it comes to kids. And I think if there is one thing good to come out of this whole thing, is definitely waking a lot of people up. I think this is the moment where we're maybe starting to finally see the general public actually waking up and saying, you know what, that's it, no more. We're fed up. We want change. We want something about this done. And again, what Starmer just did, in my opinion, I think is only just adding fuel to the fucking fire, because once again, he just goes to show that he doesn't really care about the general public, but he only cares about the non-whites, the people that really shouldn't be here to begin with, which that should really tell you something, doesn't it? That should really tell you something. So I know there's a lot of protests still going on in England, which again, good. Definitely good. Again, as long as it's lawful and all of that, I understand that tensions are really high. I understand there's a lot of anger because of Southport, but it's still important to have try and be as lawful as you possibly can, and also a very try and make yourselves look not, I don't know if presentable would be the right word, but basically don't do something that will get you into trouble. Basically, like there should still be a sense of decorum when it comes to, again, to these types of events. I think that's really important because, like I said, as much as that protest in Southport should have happened, and I completely understand why people attend to it and why people were angry. Again, when it comes to destroying private property and telling some members of that community to piss off or whatever, you're focusing on the wrong target. Well, not maybe target might not be the right word, but you're focusing your anger on the wrong people. Your anger should be focused on the establishment, because again, they have the audacity to say like, oh, the Southport community had to suffer by the likes of the far right. No, the whole thing happened because these types of events keep on happening with our people being attacked. Now, in this case, children are being killed off. And really, I mean, I don't know what the actual the reason for it. I still have not actually been given an answer as to why this actually occurred. It just kind of comes off to me as, I mean, maybe someone will know in the chat why the perpetrator did it, but it just kind of comes off to me as they just did it just for the hell of it and wanted to cause as much damage as humanly possible. And that should really terrify people. And I'm sure what happened in Southport, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of parents who are going to be really a lot more protective with their younglings. Again, understandably so. They're going to have to. I think it was Mark that said it on last night's PWR, where he's going to have to like look twice and see if everything's fine and dandy. And again, he shouldn't have to live with that. But I can understand where he's coming from with that, because again, him being a dad and all that, and of course he's got young the kid and all that. Of course, he's going to be very protective. I'm sure many parents are going to be protective now because of what happened. And again, understandably so. Get involved in local politics and try to change things from the bottom up. Yeah, exactly that. Which I know there's going to be people wondering, like, well, what's the next step? Well, I say continue on to protest, definitely. Have your voice be heard and tell the establishment, listen, we've had enough of this. Kids are now dying, and this has gone long enough. We're fed up with that. We want to see change, and we're not going to stop until that change actually does happen. Just by calling it a protest as the system language, call it illegal gathering. Fair enough. Based in Scotland, how you doing? Based in Scotland, good to see you again. Evening, just got home and saw you are live. Think I missed a few. Honestly, we were talking about what happened in Southport and down in England. I think again it was in Liverpool. I'm not too sure on what exactly your thoughts would be based in Scotland when it comes to that. Considering the fact that Southport, the victims, well, the perpetrator was from Rwanda. Well, parents were from Rwanda and all of that, and the kids were the victims. 3 have died. Other kids are in critical condition. Hopefully, they get out well and alive. And hopefully, there'll be no more deaths that would occur. But basically, after that, I think what we've seen is a lot more people are finally waking up and saying no more, and they're protesting, which they should. They definitely should protest and say deportations now and start closing the fucking borders at this point in time. But yeah, 2 more are out of the hospital, so I don't think. Well, that's well. If that's true, then good. Hopefully, more and more kids will come out of the hospital again. When it comes to that in this case, so I need to stop saying when it comes to that. Like again, I apologize, but let's see. Has that grooming / rape gangs for over 40 years? I know. It's like I said, like this whole anger, I think is something that's been building up time and time again. And because of what happened here, it's like, you know what? That's it. We're just gonna let loose. And we want to see change finally. We want deportations at this point in time. It's about time that the politicians actually start listening to the actual British people and actually start to make a change when it comes to that. So what's going to happen at this point? I don't know. Only time will tell. I know there's going to be some people. Sorry, excuse me. I know there's going to be some people And that's actually another good point. Based in Scotland, it's not just one incident. Yeah, there've been other there's been other instances that happened. Like there was an attack on a soldier. I think around about the same week. There was a machete attack that happened Southend, I believe it was. It's just these types of events. It just goes to show that this whole multiculturalism experiment, it doesn't work on any level. It doesn't work, and nobody wants this anymore. Everyone's done with that. When I went boxing, I imagined God's face. Yeah, I got a friend lives South End that messed up. Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, even fellow Club World inmates. How you doing, Mister Myrtle? Thank you very much. Let me see. So I was going to make another point about the policies that Starmer has introduced. I know there's going to be people that are going to be somewhat worried about this whole thing. Look, again, if anything, what Starmer and Labour are doing are only just adding fuel to the fire. They clearly showcase themselves that they don't care about the general people, and they're demonstrating that by wanting to protect the non-whites or the Muslim community and all of that. So, I mean, I would say let them, because again, they're only just showcasing their true colors with regards to that. They're only just showcasing their true colors. Anyways, let's move on from there. I know it's 21 minutes past 7. I can't believe it's actually been that long. I'm actually impressed with myself that I've talked about this whole thing for like just over an hour. I can't believe that would be possible, but we're here. So yeah, so what we'll do now is we'll do like a short Q&A section. So let me just see if I can get this up here on the screen. So there we go. So chat, if you have a question to ask me, please feel free to ask me a question in the chat. If you wish to send a donation through, you can send a donation through PayPal, which is the pinned comment up there, or down below in the description. Another link as well of buy me a coffee link. So if you want to send a donation here or there, you can either send through PayPal or buy me a coffee. Any donation received would be greatly appreciated, and yeah, I would greatly appreciate your continued support. Saying that, I did receive a PayPal donation from Rory Herbert earlier tonight during the stream, which I believe he sent in, I believe it was £3, and of course for the Otis dog food fund. But again, I greatly appreciate that, Rory. Thank you very much for your kind generosity. If anyone wants to send a donation through PayPal or buy me a coffee, PayPal link is up there or down below with the buy me a coffee link. Hasdak comes in with the first question of tonight, and they write, where did you get the wallpaper? It wasn't really my decision with the wallpaper. I think it was my my mother's selection when it comes to that, which of course you could tell considering it's flowers and all of that. So probably it was her idea, I would say. It was not mine whatsoever. So yeah. Just having a quick look at Telegram before any more questions to come through. And when it comes to questions, folks, by the way, it can be anything, any question you'd like. You can ask me anything you'd like. I'm saving up money to put into the Woodland initiative. Yeah, fair enough. I have heard of that. I was speaking to someone at the camp back in July, and they were telling me that they start to live off the grid as well, which I was happy for them that they did that, because I've always wanted to possibly do that, but of course I don't know really where to start, and I don't know if I would have the money for it, type of thing. But if I could, I would definitely with that. So yeah, and when it comes to the Woodlander initiative, yeah, that's something I would definitely support. The idea of nationalists owning a piece of land so that they can live there and build there and all of that and form their own community. Yeah, I'm perfectly down with that. 100%. 100% agree on that. I don't think ADHD is coming back this year. I'm assuming that's to do with the fringe. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised too. I don't know if maybe it was completely traumatized by the protests that happened last year, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, but I mean, it's good if that's the case, then good. I wouldn't want him to come back to Scotland when it comes to that. Anglo-Saxon writes, peaceful protests achieved nothing. Thoughts, Chief? I mean, I can see that. Although I would prefer it to be a peaceful protest. Of course, I don't want to have any violence or anything like that at all. Again, I can understand that why some violence may occur because again, people are just angry with it. Not to say I condone it. Of course, I don't condone any violence when it comes to that. I can understand when it comes to these types of protests, especially what happened in Southport. I can understand, especially with the anger and the tension in the air when it comes to that. I can understand why that would be the case. And with that type of basically, as long as nobody is hurt, that's what I care most about because, of course, life is really important when it comes to that. And with that type of protest, with those things happening, clearly that does send a bit of a response. You know, people then do tune in and do listen to what happens with that. So I would say, ultimately speaking, I can, as much as I would prefer more to be more of a peaceful demonstration and peaceful protest, I can understand why people, in a way, again, I'm not condoning the violence in any way, shape, or form. I can understand why it may occur, especially what happened in Southport. So. I've not seen the posters with regards to ADHD. I love the wallpaper now. Looks like Coronation Street when it was good. When was that, Budgie? Because I'm not necessarily. I don't watch regular TV or anything like that at all. So maybe I don't know. What decade would that be? Would that be the 90s or so? I don't know. Rory Herbert writes, have you seen videos of the demo outside Downing Street in London yesterday regarding the murdered girls? My friend Jeff Taylor was there and the Met Police basically kettled them wearing the riot gear. I did see some clips, Rory. I think, I don't know if maybe, I did see a clip of one of these protests that happened. Again, I don't know if this was in Downing Street or somewhere else in England. But there was one in particular where the police were using police dogs, and they were deliberately having these dogs get bite some of the general public. There was one in particular of a guy, the dog was biting the guy's shorts, and of course the guy was trying to get the dog off of him, but of course they got apprehended and all of that. So yeah, again, like I said earlier, when it comes to all of this happening. Clearly, there's a lot of people that are really angry about this and they're speaking out about it, which is, again, a really good thing. A really good thing to see that people are speaking out against this and really want to see a proper change with that. Any other questions to come through? Anything at all. It could be anything at all. It could be about politics, it could be about culture or like pop culture, like films and all of that. Anything at all. Anything at all. And if you still want to send a donation through, you still can through PayPal. Again, pinned comment there. And in the description down below for both PayPal and also for Buy Me a Coffee. I feel sorry for the dogs being involved. Dogs aren't anti-white from Toffee. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. It's sad, but it is what it is when it comes to that. Chaz Smash, any news on upcoming guests? I have been thinking about who I want to have on, and I don't want to announce it just yet for two reasons. One is that I want to keep it a bit of a surprise up until maybe 2, maybe 3 days before that show goes live. And that's the first thing, or the first reason. The second reason is I would need to ask them whether or not if they would like to come on the show or not. If they want to come on the show, great, awesome. And if not, then at least I've asked. And maybe they're not, maybe not now, but maybe next time. Either they're busy or because they don't know who I am, which again, understandable with that. Anglo-Saxon writes, seen that geezer twatting that girl in the Olympic boxing. I did see that on X or Twitter today, and I think there was someone that shared the video in question about that particular boxing fight, if you want to call it that, of the transgender going up a woman boxer, and I think someone wrote in that Twitter message writing the day the Olympics died, because again it's just subverting gender norms or sex norms or anything like that. It's exactly what it is, because it's basically a guy fighting a woman essentially. Oh, but the guy identifies as a woman. No, they're fucked in the head. That's what it boils down to. That's what it really boils down to. Run Red Rocket to the Moon. Good evening, all. Just got in from work. We'll watch the show later. You definitely can when it's on playback, which I'm sure I will definitely do so afterwards with that. So, but just to give you a bit of a clue as to what the show was about, I was basically covering for an hour and almost 20 minutes into the show. I was covering the whole Southport incident happened. With the incident that happened, and of course, the aftermath of what happened, essentially. So, Chad Smash writes, did you see the YouTube clip of the black guy getting soaked in mouth and... Sorry, well, hold on a minute. Right, did you see the YouTube clip of the black guy getting soaked in mouth in Hartlepool? No, I did not see that. No. I did not see that whatsoever. And there's people writing J.K. Rowling. I don't know why they're... Oh, hold on a minute. Has that the Harry Potter writer called the Olympics out? I can remember her name. Oh, that's why people are writing J.K. Rowling in the chat. Because I think J.K. Rowling is trending on Twitter probably because of that particular boxing fight and during the Olympics. Let's see. How can you not know her name? I mean, to be fair, people just don't read Harry Potter, or haven't really grown up with that. But, anyways, yeah, just seen on Instagram, Brittany Pet. I was going to say Pettibone, but Brittany Selner was talking about that. Just sent you that on. All right, okay. Let's have a look at this. Ah, yes, it's that clip. Yeah. So this was at the. I don't think I really should show it, because basically what it is that it's a video of the protests in Southport. It's the one where the guy in the gray tracksuit, I think it's a tracksuit, he was standing in front of the officers, but he gets a brick thrown at the back of his head. And I think he gets a brick thrown on his balls, which, I mean, yeah, it's not entirely pleasant, but I'll just reply to your message. Oh, man, ouch. There we go. Ouch. But yeah, indeed, ouch. Yeah, like 50. Yeah, it's yeah. Oof. Yeah, I mean the brick to the balls, that must have hurt. That must have hurt really bad. But yeah. Any more questions that come through, folks? Because if not, might as well just end the show there for now, because my throat's a bit dry. And I'll be honest, right? I'm pretty tired. I was actually, I think I've been more tired today than I have been for the past couple of days. Because I remember when I was on the bus to work and then on the bus back to work, or even on during my during one of my breaks I've had today. I remember I was just sitting down and I was just like really I was just like drifting off into sleep, and I'm just like, oh, I'm just trying to like wake myself up. Like, no, I may be tired, but I'm not gonna fall asleep. But no, like I'm gonna at least stay awake until like for now, and then if then when I'm ready, I'll head to bed. You know, I'm probably gonna head to bed early tonight. Regarding to that, considering I'm working tomorrow anyway, so maybe 10, half 10 tonight. I don't know, but we'll see. I'm definitely gonna get a bit of a longer lie, and of course wake up early for tomorrow. So I can see that, Chaz. Yeah, it's the heat. Yeah, like I said at the start of the show, it's actually been getting a lot more. Sorry, excuse me. It has been getting a lot more warmer as of late. So yeah. Rory Herbert, after the degenerate intro to the Paris Olympics, why are you not boycotting it, Chief? I don't watch the Olympics. I don't watch anything on regular television. I mean, the whole reason why I watched those clips was that they were shown on X or Twitter, if I'm not mistaken, with regards to that. So yeah, I'm not actually watching the Olympics. To be honest, I've never really been interested in the Olympics to begin with. I think it's just like any other big international event similar to the Olympics. I just think it's filled to the brim of like globalist propaganda. I mean, we've seen this year's Olympics with that fat bitch, was like mocking, Jesus and the what was the name of that? I think it's a painting or a portrait, but it's basically Jesus with the big table, and he's got his followers, or the 12 disciples. I think they were called. I can't remember. I think it might. I think it's the Last Supper. I think it's called. Yes, basically it's called the Last Supper. Thank you. Yeah. Again, just like mocking that. Of course, no fucking surprise there. And then, of course, you find out that the fat bitch who was like, "Oh, I'm being so stunning and brave of making fun of Jesus and making fun of Christianity." Like, "Oh, well, here's our version of the Last Supper." Yeah, that fat bitch was actually Jewish. No, every single time. Ah, dear. Anyways. All right, I'll have a look at those photographs in a moment of your message. Right, I'll have a look at it in a minute. Actually, wait a minute. Sorry, folks, bear with me just a minute. I'll respond to that in a moment. Anyways, Chinese is here. Well, I hope you enjoy. Calling her a fat bitch is anti-Semitic. Oh, well, I guess I'm anti-Semitic then, I guess. Oh, well. Let's see. Any more to come through question-wise? If not, did I miss your reaction? I don't think you did. Oh, well, I did see the message you sent through on Instagram, which yeah, it's pretty accurate, I'll say. Let's see. Anglo-Saxon. Anyone else who we know streaming tonight, Chief? Tonight's I don't know, to be honest. I don't know if you normally streams on a Thursday. Maybe actually, let me have a check on yeah, those pics. Yeah, of course. I did. I just yeah, I seen the pictures, of course. But yes, in terms of who's streaming tonight, I'm trying to think. There's one in particular I'm thinking, but I don't know if he's actually streaming or he normally streams on a Thursday night. But it's the is it John? His name? Wait, the pensioner streamer. Feels like Friday. Does it feel like a Friday? It's I don't know. Maybe it still it kind of feels. Nah, maybe I'm sure tomorrow will definitely feel a lot more like a Friday, but I don't think today felt like a Friday or anything like that. But that's just me. Um, John is on Friday, right? So what's John's last name? Or what? Well, besides that, what exactly is his pseudonym again? It's something pensioner. I know that. Uh, but yeah, in terms of like streams tonight, I don't think there's another stream going on tonight. Saying that, and I don't know if Joe is still in the chat just now, but Joe Marsh will be coming back to do a stream this coming Saturday, which I can't wait for. John Davidson, that's his name. Yeah, John Davidson. Again, I don't know if he's streaming tonight, but if not, I think even people are saying that he streams on the Friday. So yeah. Budgie Burger writes, Yiz, I'm assuming that's Yiz the Eunuch. On a Thursday is Brilliant, The Empire of Lies, 11 o'clock. Well, there you go. If you're interested in watching Yiz the Eunuch, then yeah, tune in on their show at 11 p.m. tonight. That's probably the only national stream I can think of that is maybe on tonight, but other than that, it's really just my show, Yiz the Eunuch, and tomorrow, again, probably John Davidson will be live. And I think Joe will be live this weekend on Saturday, from what I was told. Which again, I can't wait for that. Anyway, with that, so Toffee writes, I wish I'd never deleted my YouTube channel. I could do with a rant stream now. Well, there we go. Hasdak, well, maybe I will start a new YouTube channel, Toffee, and then, or if you could bring the old one back, that would be ideal. But maybe just start a new one and then just kind of start all over again. I'm sure, and once you do that, I'm sure we'll share the stream and share the channel again, just so you can get subs with that. But anyways, Hasdak, I don't think they'll be think he'll well though. There was no show on Tuesday, right? I see. I hope he's doing all right with John Davidson. It's been a long time since him and I have interacted, but I hope he's actually doing well. So, anyways, I think with that, folks, it's now 7:42. We'll just come to an end of the show. Yeah, I'm just going to end the show here tonight. It's a bit longer than expected, and I hope you all enjoyed tonight's episode. It's a bit of a roller coaster ride of emotions with tonight's
This
stream.
was a meeting.
Again, considering the subject matter of what
This was a
we've,
meeting to pull together our response.
They are. Sorry. Yeah, a roller coaster of emotions with tonight's stream, again, because of the subject matter we're talking about. But even saying that, I hope everyone has enjoyed tonight's stream. I should be back for next week's episode, possibly. Again, and I know I keep saying this, I know I'm really terrible at follow through, but I'm going to determine next week's episode to have a guest on. If not next week, it will be the following week. I know I said this in the past, but I'm determined that's going to be the case with the next episode. So yeah, I hope everyone has enjoyed. Thank you all very much for coming along. You still have plenty of time to send in a donation through PayPal or Buy Me a Coffee. Links will be in the description. The PayPal link will be in the pinned comment there. So again, any donation received tonight would greatly be beneficial when it comes to that. Keep doing that, Mistake Chief. Good sample. No worries. John D. Cheers, Chief. Great stream. All thanks for chatting. We are united and we will win. Yes, indeed. Indeed, we will. Indeed, we will. Yes, but once again, with that, actually, before we leave, I'm just going to get a song to play us out with. Now, I'm going to play again Auslander Rus once again, because I did say before that song will be played all the way up until episode 214, because I just thought maybe it'd be somewhat base to do that. So we'll play that, but a different version this time around. I can't remember who sent me the link to this version, but they advised, well, instead of playing the same version over and over again, why not play different variations of the same song? You know, a slowed one, a fast one, you know, that type of idea. So we're going to do just that for Auslander Roost, the slow and reverbed version of the song, if you guys wouldn't mind. So yeah, again, appreciate everyone coming along. Thank you all very much for watching. Do follow me on other platforms like X or Telegram, or X being Twitter, or formerly Twitter, I should say. And yeah, again, just for more updates with upcoming streams and such. And again, I appreciate everyone coming along. It's been an eventful episode, to say the least, because of what we're talking about. But if you've missed it, you can watch the replay when it's up, which of course will be right after the stream ends, I would imagine. But yeah, that's going to be it. So thank you all very much for watching. This is Chief Moody signing out. You have been watching the Mood of the Nation podcast, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take care, stay safe, enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening, enjoy the weekend when it comes along, and yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you all, and good night. Take care.
Because I am